What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We're in the process of breaking down every melee DPS class for PvP. We're going through their talents and their runes and figuring out what the best possible PvP spec is going to be. Today, we're focusing on the Druid. So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Okay, so as you guys can see, we're here on Wowhead with the classic Season of Discovery talent calculator. We have Druid selected, and the first thing we're going to do is head on down to our runes. So for our chest rune, a lot of you are sitting here thinking, obviously, Wild Strikes, why would we not take that? But there are some good arguments to be made here. Survival of the Fittest could also be a super strong choice when it comes to PvP. If you really think about it, let's read what it does. Reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6%, reduces all damage taken by 10%, reduces damage taken by an additional 10% while in bear form or dire bear form. So this could essentially just be really, really strong for PvP, right? If you're like another feral, if you're the second feral and one is running Wild Strikes, and you want to run Survival of the Fittest, I think this is going to make you extremely strong in PvP. You're going to basically be unkillable, especially if you jump into bear form. It was already so tough to take down a bear druid. Now with Survival of the Fittest in PvP, you're going to be just an absolute monstrosity of a tank. It's going to be really hard for people to take you down. And then obviously we have Wild Strikes, which is Wind Fury. This is just a no-brainer. If you don't want to ever worry about that and you want to go full offensive, obviously Wild Strikes is your best choice here. Wind Fury for you and your entire party. It's a no-brainer. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to select Wild Strikes, but Survival of the Fittest is definitely a more PvP geared rune. So we're going to take Wild Strikes because I'm going to assume that most of you want to play Feral Druid and run around as a cat, just slapping people and just absolutely disintegrating everything that you touch, and you probably will do that. So let's move on to our hand rune. For our hand rune here, again, another no-brainer. We're going to be taking Mangle. Mangle is going to be one of your staple abilities. If you are not behind your target and you can't shred, you are going to be mangling. Mangle the target for 160% normal damage and cause the target to take an additional 30% damage from bleed effects and shred for 1 minute. So you're going to want to keep Mangle up on your target at all times. And then obviously the best thing to do is be able to get behind them and start spamming shred. But if you can't, Mangle is still really strong. So that's what you're going to be using. You're going to be mangling, raking, shredding, ripping, and that's it. You're basically just making everything bleed and take a ton of damage and melting through everyone that you touch. I think that Feral Druids are going to be really strong, but we got to wait and see. So we're going to take Mangle for our hand rune, and then on our legs, we're going to obviously be taking Skull Bash. Savage Roar is another good choice, but again, it's more PvE focused to kind of keep up this buff on yourself with combo points. You're not really going to be able to stack 5 combo points that often in PvP on player targets that are moving around and kiting you and blinking away and all this stuff. So Skull Bash is going to be an absolute necessity. This is going to be basically a charge and an interrupt in one ability. So I think this is really strong, especially since Feral Cat Druids don't have a charge in Classic. This is going to give them that charge, so they have a gap closer aside from Dash, and they have an interrupt, which they really were lacking in Classic. So Skull Bash is the no-brainer there for legs. Now, as for our talents, there's a couple of ways we can build this, right? We can go 1 point into Nature's Grasp, 4 points into Improved Nature's Grasp, 5 points into natural weapons, grab Omen of Clarity, and then take Ferocity. But you'd have to keep Omen of Clarity up on yourself to get some free shreds and things like that. This would be a more PvE-focused build. So the build that I would run would be 5 points into Ferocity, right? This is going to reduce the energy cost of Maul, Swipe, Claw, Rake, and Mangle, because Mangle says this ability benefits from and triggers all effects associated with Claw and Maul. So Mangle will cost 5 less energy with Ferocity right here. We're going to put 2 points into Brutal Impact to give our Pounce and Bash an extra 1 second on the stun. 3 points into Feral Instinct so that there's less chance enemies will detect us while we are in stealth. We're going to put 2 points into Feline Swiftness, increase your movement speed by 30% while outdoors in cat form, and increase your chance to dodge while in cat form by 4%. That's an absolutely super strong talent for Warsong Gulch and open world PvP. We're going to put 3 points in Sharpened Claws. This is going to give us 6% extra crit while we're in cat form or bear form. And then I would put 1 point into Blood Frenzy. Your critical strikes from cat form abilities that add combo points have a 50% chance to add an additional combo point. So that is super strong. We wouldn't want Primal Fury. That's for bear tanking. Predatory strikes increase your melee attack power in cat, bear, and dire bear form by 50% of your level. If you're level 25, 50% of that is like 12.5. So even if you gain 13 attack power, not that strong. I honestly do think that the 50% chance to get another combo point is way stronger than that. Or we could reduce the energy cost of Shred by 6 energy. That could also be a contender here. But again, this would have to be something that we test and play around with. I don't know how much you're going to be able to be shredding in PvP. You might be mangling a lot more than you're shredding, so this might be kind of a wasted talent. So I do really think that Blood Frenzy would be the better choice here when it comes to talents. And as for druids and how I think they're going to perform, feral druids, sorry, I think they're going to do really well. I think they're actually going to perform better than most people think they're going to perform. I think they're going to be really strong, especially if you run into some druids running survival of the fittest. They're going to basically be unkillable, right? I mean, reduce the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6%. You don't have to be in bear form for that. So that's just all the time, okay? And reduces all damage taken by 10%. You don't have to be in bear form for that. That's just all the time. And then if you are in bear form, it's an additional 10%. So I really do think that this rune for PvP is super underrated, and it's going to be really, really strong. I mean, you have enough damage now where you don't need to take wild strikes. I do get it. It's going to be a massive DPS boost. But it's going to be two different playstyles, right? If you're trying to run the flag in Warsong Gulch, survival of the fittest is going to be the way that you go. Or if you already have a feral in your group in Warsong or in your world PvP that's running wild strikes, definitely switch your rune to survival of the fittest. It's just going to make you so much more tanky. And it's not even like you're sacrificing damage to use that, especially if you have another feral in your group running wild strikes. So I think that this is something that we're going to see a lot of feral druids running in PvP. And you know what? You have Mangle now too for some extra damage. So you're going to be Mangling, Rake, Rip, Shred. It's going to be, you have a lot in your kit. You're extremely mobile. You have a ton of utility. I do think that feral druids are going to actually excel in the 25 bracket for PvP. I think they're going to do really well, but yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think. So drop some comments down below. Let me know what you would do differently with any of these specs and how you think feral druids are going to perform at the level 25 PvP bracket. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. I'm covering so much of Season of Discovery. We're going to be covering it all season long, every phase, tons of content. You guys seem to be loving it, so I really appreciate the support, and I'm glad to be doing this. I'm having a good time. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you guys want to join the Discord, we have an awesome community that's been growing at a rapid rate over the past couple of weeks. We have an awesome launch day event planned. You could sign up for that. Or if you just want to join a community of people who are same as you, they're excited for Season of Discovery, they just want to play. It's a great group of people. There's good positive vibes going on, and everyone is excited for launch day. Yeah, just head on over. We will welcome you with open arms. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today. So thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.